Hey guys, what's cracking? Godsman here, coming back with another of the premium selection reveal videos, or actually, to be exact, this is going to be my final premium selection review for this set. We're finally done. We've got 3 last clans to talk about, and then that is it. It's been quite a journey, fellas. So much hype along the way, so many good cards, not a lot of disappointments too, which is always nice to hear. And I would say more, but you know what? Let's save that for the end, right? Let's just get right into the reveals. So starting off with Murakumo is one, I'm not sure how many people are anticipating this one, but hey, you know what? They got some good stuff. So we got Ambush Demon Stealth Rogue, Izushio Tome. So Izushio Tome has 2 skills. The first one is act on Van Circle once per turn. You counterblast 1, and you put 1 normal unit from your drop to the bottom of the deck, and flip up a card in your G zone. So it's a little bit of recycling there. You choose up to 2 of your rear guards, search your deck for up to 1 card each with the same name as the chosen cards. Call them the rear and shuffle your deck. It also has another skill, which is Van Circle. And this is a continuous skill. All of your units can attack from the back row if you have another unit with the same name as that unit. So this is essentially Kagame Jishi, but better, and that's really all it needed to be. Murakumo has been sort of in tatters, perhaps at odds with itself, lost of an identity, right? Murakumo doesn't know what to do with itself in Premium ever since they lost that busted stride. Nubadayo, I think it was called, something like that. Yeah, that stride was absolutely nuts, super degenerate, but once it was gone, it was like, what do we got left, right? There's they have pretty decent strides, you know. You do have like the one Yasue stride that's pretty cool. A couple of Shiryuki strides are cool, but I think they're more Shiryuki focused. From there, I think you get like Victor or whatever, and Victor is not like that bad, but it just never really quite hit the level. This one though is very nice. It keeps very much to the Murakumo theme, right, of cloning and getting all that nice multi-attack. The cost is fair. It's very fair. As a matter of fact, putting back a normal unit to the bottom of the deck is less of a cost and more of a benefit. And yeah, there's not a lot else to say about Izushio Tome other than the fact that this is good stuff for Murakumo. I mean, even though it's not a G persona flip, you're probably going to be running multiples of these, and this is a fantastic first stride. Gets you extra advantage, it gets you extra attacks, reasonable cost. There's everything to love about this stride, so they got good stuff there. Now, what about Ambush Demon Stealth Rogue? Eisen, list glasses, all the Bleach fans are wilding right now. So anyway, we've got a G guard with the effect, when it's placed on Guardian Circle, you choose one of your rear guards and it gets a skill. Ooh, spicy. Auto rear circle. At the end of the battle that your opponent's unit attacked, if the attack did not hit, so some of that Shadow Stitch in there, right? Even though this technically doesn't have the keyword. You Soul Blast 1, and you may return this unit to your hand until end of turn. For each unit you have the same name as the chosen unit, this unit gets plus 10k shield until the end of that battle. So, I'm gonna level with you guys here. At first, this is probably a bit like, the bounce is sort of confusing. Now, the fact that it gets 10k for each copy of the thing that you chose, that seems like straight up Murakumo's alley, right? You know, you do a lot of the clones, and then you're able to have a lot of those names on the field. Therefore, this could be getting a possible 40k, heck, even more if there's like stuff that like maintains names, although I'm not sure if there's a lot that like does so in the opponent's turn, right? But I mean, heck, if you're doing Hyaki reverse, actually that could be up to 8. That's a bit funny, but anyway, that's that aside, this is going to get pretty beefy. That's good, but the bounce is a little bit confusing. Here's the thing, even though clones go back to the bottom, they don't always do so. So Izushio Tome be an example of that. You don't put back your clones, so you're gonna have them out there on the field. But again, it's like, why do you bounce them? Well, how about Shiryuki? Both of them, in fact, but mainly the first Shiryuki in B. Yeah, she's still a thing, right? You have the Shiryuki out there, you played its effect for Soul Blast 2, and you debuff the opponent's like front row. That's good. Your attacks are a little bit more beefy. That's cool. But then afterwards, she's still on the field. She can't defend you. But by bouncing this back to the hand, albeit for a Soul Blast, which is digging into the same resources what Shiryuki dug into initially, you're able to then have her in the hand to use her guard effect again. That's really powerful. Additionally, just on the vein of grade 3s, you can bounce back grade 3s to your hand to use them as cost for things like strides and whatnot. You can also, in fact, as an interesting component, because this targets any unit, not just normal unit, if for whatever reason you decided to clone a trigger, you can bounce back triggers and then use them as well. In addition, you can just bounce back a ride target. Let's say in the example of Hyaki again, you just bounce back another one of your Hyaki reverses and then ride over it next turn. Simple stuff, right? There's a lot you can do with this. So it is strange, like it's strange to think about like the bounce effect, but here's the thing that's interesting. This bounce effect is not mandatory. So even if it's not relevant, you don't need to care about it. All you would really need to care about at minimum is the 10k shield for each unit. That's it. So yeah, overall, I would say Aizen's actually a really strong G guard. It's a little confusing to think about, but all it is, hey, you could combo, but at minimum, it's beefy shield. And really, that's all we really need at the end of the day, right? So yeah, 2 for 2 on Murakumo reveals. Moving on next to the next one. And we're back. So, Angel Feather. In this same batch as the other clan, which, I mean, hey, Neo Nectar was a cover card, right? So it makes sense that that would be the last one. And these girls are right up there. And I'm not sure if I'm happy about that. It'd be weird to say I'm happy about that because it means I had to wait so long just to see what Angel's freaking got because I like him in Premium. But by that token, I guess you can kind of call it an otter, quote unquote, and whatever. Anyway, what do we get here? So, with the Stride, we've got Holy Seraph Zafkiel. So, Zafkiel has one effect. I will say it. It's a doozy of effect. Act on Van. Once per turn, you discard 1 card from hand. That's it. That's the cost. No G-Flip, no Counterblast, no Soul Blast, no nothing. You choose up to a total of 3 cards from your drop zone and or your non-Van circles, and put them into your damage zone face up. For each normal unit placed this way, all of your front row units get 10k until the end of the turn. For each trigger unit placed this way, this unit gets drive +1 until end of turn. For each card put this way, choose 1 card in your damage zone and heal it. Okay, so what do we think about Zafkiel? Well, I think Zafkiel is a breath of fresh air for this freaking clan because any of you guys who play Angels, particularly in Premium, you'll know this is the story of like Angel's entire existence, right? So good at stalling, fantastic defense, F-all in terms of actually finishing off goddamn games, aside from maybe Ultima. Aside from Ultima, which is a freaking Xeroth dragon, right? These guys don't have strides that close out games, and to a point, the strides feel a little bit redundant. There's even some kind of underwhelming, somewhere in between with the past couple supports for them. So this is really nice because finally with the extra 10k bonuses or getting extra drives, you have a lot of offensive pressure going on here. Like you can actually have a pretty nice stride and pretty nice numbers, and this is a good way to have things like Hamiel be more relevant because this really sets up Hamiel, let's be real, right? So you're getting like powers to your front row because you're putting in 3 cards and healing them out, and those 3 cards are being put faced up. That's the 3 counterblasts that you need for Hamiel right there. Easy peasy. In addition to that, let's not forget the fact that this thing is getting extra drives, which is very much like how Gabriel Casino liked to put triggers on Hamiel. With this one, you're not getting rescue checks during the main phase or anything like that, unless of course you're just playing Gabby by the means of doing so. But I mean, hey, just swing with this first, get whatever you got, and put it on hams, and then go ahead and do that. It's not as effective in Premium, though, because we do have G-Guards, and G-Guards can do something about that. Denial Griffin. But hey, it's still a strategy to keep in mind, right? So yeah, this has a lot of offensive pushing pressure, while also keeping much in theme with the Angel Feather strategy. And the fact that this doesn't cost like a Soul Blast or anything, it's just a discard, means that even if you put 1 trigger in there, it's essentially a break even. It's essentially free. So that's really nice. I don't know what the optimal quote unquote ratio of trigger to non-trigger you place with this effect. A part of me is inclined to think that if you're just like wanting to set up and get advantage, you can put a bunch of triggers, but I also think that, hey, if you want to be a little bit more offensive, you can take the neg. But if you're just like, I want to push, but I also don't want to neg, 1 trigger, 2 normal unit is probably the way to go. That way, you break even, but you got 20k to the front row. That's pretty cool. Anyway, Moving on to the G-Guard. This stride was pretty cool. Super Mobile Hospital Firmament Grants. One hell of a name. Okay, so when it's put on Guardian Circle, Counterblast 3, Soul Blast 1. Choose one card in your damage zone and call it to Guardian Circle. Wow, okay, this was a surprisingly sparse text box for this effect. A lot of these G-Guards were kind of beefy in their text box. This one, no. Simple but powerful. Heal 1 via putting it to the Guardian Circle. Just throw in whatever you want. Throw in your crit sense there. You can throw in other triggers there. I think PGs actually work here because you're calling them the Guardian Circle. So yeah, there's a lot you can do here. This is such a versatile guard because you can deliberately place guards into your damage zone and then put them out. But that's just besides the point. This is a heal. You healed one. And it's essentially just for CB2, which, considering you have things like Zofkiel, which is effectively a countercharge 3 when you think about it, right? This is so easy. So easy and so good. Just being able to be like, heal, right? It feels like Raphael isn't even all that necessary anymore, right? We just have a heal in the form of a heal of a G-Guard, right? So yeah, this is phenomenal. This is arguably, in my opinion, one of the best G-Guards in this set. Way up there. Is it top 10? Definitely. Not sure where it lands, but this is just so nuts. Like, I get why Angels got this because it's totally in theme with them, but holy crap, that's it. I mean, guys, really, it's just a heal during the opponent's turn of your own volition. That's all needs to be said about that. So yeah, pretty good Angels reveals. They're not the nuts necessarily in terms of the stride, but the stride is solid. Although I think we would appreciate, because this is somewhat of an offensive stride, it could be more about resource gathering, but this is mainly like somewhat of an offense push, but it's aggressive, not a win condition. I think we could settle for something that's a little bit more win condition-y, right? We kind of had something going on with the Battle Door stride, that Battle Door is based on the number of cards and your damage, but there wasn't a lot of finishing power with that. It was just a Battle Door, so yeah, I don't know. I think they're not quite there yet, but this is definitely a step in the right direction, and the G-Guard's nuts, so yeah, there's that. Anyway, moving on to the Neo Nectar reveals. Okay, we're back. Now, ending it off with the final card that was on the cover set. Neo Nectar, this pretty lady, which almost certainly is going to support Bloom just from the picture alone, right? Let's see what she does. So, we've got here Flower Princess of Gratitude, Lattice Rava. It's kind of an interesting name. Seems faintly Indian, although I'm not sure about that. Anyway, so she's got 2 effects. First effect is an act once per turn. You pitch a card from hand, so the same cost as the Angel Stride, interestingly enough. You choose one of your rear guards, insert your deck for up to 2 cards from your deck with the same grade as that rear guard, and reveal them. Choose up to 1 from among them, add to your hand, call the rest to rear, then shuffle your deck. Let me go on to the second skill, then we'll talk about that. Auto on Van, when this unit attacks, Counterblast 1, and if you have 2 or more rear guards with the same name, choose 2 cards from among them and stand them. So yeah, this is like really just good stuff, Neo Nectar all around. Let's just consider a few of the nuances, right? Because the devil's in the details as to why this card is secretly pretty phenomenal. First thing to know, right? When we're choosing the rear guard, I emphasized in the tone of my voice, but it's the grades that's searching. It's not the name. So let's say, for instance, you picked a grade 3. You could add 2 grade 3s that are just entirely different from it if you want, or 2 grade 3s that are the same as it, just and the same as each other. Just add them. It's very, very simple and easy. And the fact that you discarded 1 and don't pay any other resources, this is a +1. Objectively, this is a +1. Calling 1 into hand, sure you can, but the fact that it says choose up to 1 to call means, in theory, you don't have to do this. As a matter of fact, if you want to be cheeky, right, if you have a grade 0 out there for whatever reason, you can pick the grade 0, search your deck for 2, Sentinels, and add them to your hand. Yeah, you can do that. That's really nice, especially since Neos don't exactly have so much defense that's crazy. I know there's the Ontario combo, but aside from that, it's it's a Force clan. It's not going to always see its PGs or whatever, so this is really nice to have. But Let's also think about it from the Musketeer sense. I think Vanguard Insider mentioned this a bit, but I thought of it too, right? Which is that if you have Cecilia reverse, it requires to be called from the deck, so just call it from the deck with this effect, and then there you go. It's immediately online, and then you get to have that ride from the rearguard circle, extra force marker, extra attack, good days, right? So that's cool. And the fact that this particular effect doesn't cost a counterblast is even better. The second effect is also really nice because, again, let's think about it. She sets up her second effect with her first effect magnificently. You're almost certainly going to be guaranteed to be able to have two or more rear guards with the same name. Now, of course, you're only standing two of them, but that can just be two in the front row. This is a Force clan, so they will be kind of bigger, right? Just somewhat bigger. If you're playing this in a Bloom strategy, then they're going to be potentially massive because you're calling a lot, they're getting a lot of buffs, big ass column, you know, like just totally anime style from Tokuha, right? It's just the huge columns. And then you just restand those huge columns. I mean, that's about what, like, I mean, seriously, that was like peak V era, right? So we love to see it, but if you're the opponent, you hate to see it. So yeah, that's good stuff too. This is really splashable in a lot of Neo's decks as well. So I imagine that you play it a lot. Oh, and let us remember, no G-flip cost equals can be a one-of, but I think this is so good, you probably play it at more than a one-of because it's got the complete package for it, especially since it's a fantastic first stride. So yeah, we are grateful for Flower Princess of Gratitude. And the final card, Flower Princess of Dedication, not going to pronounce that. Auto. When this unit is put to Guardian Circle, choose up to a total of 2 normal units from your rear circle or drop zone, please choose drop zone, and put them to the bottom of your deck in any order. If you put 2 cards, countercharge 1, and this unit gets 15k shield until the end of that battle. So, please, like I said, choose drop zone, don't choose rear unless you have to, because the 2 units that you choose have to not only be normal units, they have to have the same name as each other. So if you don't have any like pairs in your drop zone, then I guess you kind of would have to do it. But unless you're in a super pinch, don't like opt for this option, right? And of course, putting back 1 is probably useless. I mean, sure, it's a recycle, but I know Neos have other ways of recycling. But that's just all the stipulations. This is amazing. It's recycle, beefy shield, crit sentinel level shield, and then you get a counter charge. For all of these counter blasting G guards, we finally, at the very end, get a G guard that's, hey, you know what? Counter blast? Nah. Counter charge? Yeah, right? The Drake meme. So I love this. It's supremely resourceful and a beefy shield. I'm all about the resource management, right? Being a Shadows guy and all that. I love the counter charge. I love putting back units. I love being able to set yourself up for the next turn. So this is fantastic. Is it going to be a top 10? It's debatable because there's a lot of like strong G guards. So we have to sort of crunch it down to what does it do for the clan as a whole. And this is definitely generically applicable because you're putting back your like copies of cards. Now, admittedly, when you're calling them to the field, you may or may not be calling over a lot. If you're doing like Musketeer tactics, this is probably especially great for Musketeers because they do a lot of like retire and recall shenanigans. But in other versions, I'm not so sure about that. I guess to field wipe, this is of course going to be the nuts. But aside from that, I don't know. It depends on the game state. So it's a little bit situational, but still, I think it's above the mean. That's for goddamn sure. So that'll do it for all the reveals. We went through 24 clans. Thank you guys so much for being here with me as I'm going through these videos. I was really testing out the waters by doing a review of like different sets, and admittedly these videos aren't super high quality. It's just kind of me looking at them on Reddit of all things and then just giving my thoughts on it. So this isn't so much of an expert review, so to speak, unless you're talking about Paladin stuff or whatever. Then I kind of become like sort of an authority, not an official one, of course, but just that's where my jam is, right? But still, I wanted to review all these because I wanted to see, hey, maybe this is a way to grow the channel and, you know, get some stuff in. If you guys do like these reviews, if you guys think I did a pretty good job, or heck, even if you guys like the concept reviews, but I could, you know, use some work, I could get better, let me know all that in the comments. I'm thinking of doing this for the upcoming Clan Collection set But of course, there's a bit of effort that comes into it. I got to put down some times, read these, collect my thoughts, and put the videos out there. Of course, it's good content, but at the same time, it's also content that in turn takes some time, but I want to do it. But if I hear responses saying, hey, you know what, Godsman, it's cool what you're doing, but there's a lot of YouTubers that do it and may or may not admittedly do it better than you do, so you may not want to bother. I get that, right? I don't necessarily want to be that redundant, but hey, you know, if it turns out there's none of that, then I think I might just progress forward and do it. We'll have to wait and see. But that doesn't deter from the fact that thank you for watching this video. Thank you for all the support. I'm a pretty small channel, but I can see it growing little by little every day, and I love it, and I love seeing your guys' comments. I love seeing the feedback, both on my channel or on Reddit, Discord, all that kind of stuff. The community is great, so I love being able to chat with you guys and get excited for things like this. This was an amazing set, and I had a lot of comments about it. I may or may not do a retrospective video in my channel, but there's a possibility as well that in FourthFall's channel, you know, my buddies, right, we're going to be doing a podcast type style thing, and we may have a retrospective of the premium set there, which would be pretty nice, you know, get more thoughts than just my own, because my perspective is cool, but it's somewhat limited in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, there's that. With that, I don't think there's much else to say. I suppose just a couple final thoughts on this premium selection. What did I think? Well, I'll just keep it brief because, again, I want to make another video going into it, but I think this was amazing. Just for nothing else, the fact that it got people excited for premium to the degree that I would argue maybe like it's like the hype level of the ban list. The ban list that we just got, which was nuclear and amazing, it made premium a valid format again, more or less. I think people wanted to play premium, but still premium was like, it started to taper off a bit after a while, the hype went down. This shoots it right back into prominence. Premium doesn't just feel like, oh hey, you know, it's a format. Premium feels like, oh boy, it's one of the formats. You've got premium stands rising up more and more and loving this. So this was such a strong revitalization. And it also is good because it sets a standard. These cards were strong and they were nice. Of course, there are a couple like Genesis, which I was a little bit harsh on, but I still don't like very much, even though I now recognize that it does have some potential, right? They were far and away just above what we were expecting with the Clan Collection norm, and it sets a couple precedents. For instance, with Clan Collection, are we going to see a rise in power value, and this is just a precursor to that, or are we not? There's a possibility there. I'd imagine that no, we're not going to see a rise in power value, but it is the fact that it is even possible because of this. You know, it piques interest. And similarly, we didn't get the standard artwork hints. We didn't know what a lot of these cards were going to look like, to my understanding. We didn't even get like effect hints or anything like that. So it is possible that with Clan Collection approaching us pretty soon here, I believe its release date in Japan is supposed to be mid-June. Time is kind of running out, and they may be prone to do the same thing for Clan Collection, which admittedly is a little sad for me. I really like the hints. They really help us to theorize and get hyped for the cards, but if they decide not to do that, then I mean, I guess you get maximum surprise factor. When it pops out, it's like, yo! But yeah, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of the move. I know some people just aren't the biggest fan either, and others still, they're indifferent to it, right? As long as we get our support, we get our support, and that's the end of that, right? So wherever camp you stand on, you know, that's just a little grievance, a tiny grievance, but far and away, this was amazing. And to think we have to wait at least another year to get another one of these, I think it's a year, right? I don't think it's twice a year like it was with V, but hey. When it comes, boys, and we've got a lot of nice cards to just sit on, practice, freshen up some things, and overall just have a fun time with this amazing format. And that'll do it for the day. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Take care. God bless.